Welcome to the show. My name is Bill. This is KO Bets. This morning, we've got a special guest appearance from my brother here. His name is Johnny.
Hello, everyone. I'm Johnny. Thanks for coming out today.
Johnny's in town this weekend. Celebrated my mom's birthday last night. We played some night golf. We had a shrimp boil, some pumpkin pie. It was a good time. So John's from out in the Davenport area.
Mm-hmm.
So big Bears fan.
Oh,
Good guy. So today we're gonna excuse me. I stayed up late. I had a lot to drink. I sound a little phlegmy. So today we're gonna go over the Week 3 NFL slate of games. At the end, we might do some Sitstart fantasy advice if anyone wants to tune in. We'll give our spread picks, moneyline picks, over-under picks. We can start with what happened Thursday night because we already had a game here. So I'll pull up my spreadsheet. Carolina was at Houston. The over-under was 43. Spread was 8. Carolina, they took care of business on the road, even with the Christian McCaffrey injury. It was a pretty entertaining game for the first portions of it, but it never really was close, right?
Yeah, I felt like Houston had one good drive it was like that 2-minute drive to end the first half, and I was like, oh, they might start clicking in the second half. And then they just came out flat, so I think learning curve because they have that new starting quarterback in because of Tyrod's injury, but I mean, I would hope it goes better for them maybe next week, but I have no idea who they play, so.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be okay with just betting against Houston all season long.
Yeah.
Who did they beat week 1, though?
Jacksonville.
Yeah, that was disappointing. Disappointing appearance from Jacksonville. So, we'll get into the games here. We got a good one. We've got the Colts at the Titans. I think Carson Wentz has sprained both of his ankles, which is kind of interesting.
He's active.
And he's active. No, he's tough. So, I don't know. What do you think of both of their defenses? I mean, Indy, it seemed like for 3 years, had a really, really strong defense. And then they've given up quite a few points to Seattle this year, I think, already. And week 1, they put up a decent amount of points. I know Tennessee's defense is awful.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. And then I think the Colts, I think they've just ran into two really good offenses because they played the Rams and Seattle, which are probably two of the top 5-ish offenses in the league, I would say, this year. So, no, I think the Colts defense should have a bounce-back game this week. I think they are motivated after an 0-2 start. So
Yeah. So the over-under is 47. Do you think it's going to be a shootout? I kind of think 47, 23, 24 points a team is definitely doable for both of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I could see 3 touchdowns, a couple field goals easily by one of the teams. I'm kind of banking on someone getting into the high 20s, 30 points.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
The spread's 6 though, which I mean, I don't know who you like in terms of your money line pick between them. Tennessee's the favorite at minus 255 odds. Indy's plus 205. I kind of like Tennessee. I thought they did have the bounce back week against Seattle. Derrick Henry obviously isn't. I don't think he's going to put up 3 or 4 touchdowns, whatever he did against Indianapolis. But I kind of like the Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, both carrying it 20 plus times. Maybe a little Oh, that changes the dynamic a little bit. Like maybe it's a low scoring game then, but um, they both have good weapons. But I like Indy to cover the 6 point spread. I like Tennessee to win. And I'm going to stick with the over and the over under. Um, what do you like Indy to cover 6 points, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think with Carson Wentz being in today, I would pick Indy to cover. I do think it's an interesting thought of like, are Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry just going to run the ball every single play?
Mm-hmm.
And that would make me think the under might hit just because it'll be a fast, running clock the whole game. But I definitely think both teams have good weapons. I think Tennessee will win, but I think I'd pick the Colts to cover the spread.
Yeah, like maybe Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, they have a ton of success, but then they're hitting those play actions down the field, scoring quickly, because they got decent weapons, both teams.
Oh, yeah.
Anything's an improvement over Philadelphia for Carson. What he had there.
Yeah.
In our next game, we've got the Falcons at the Giants. Falcons are allowing 40 points a game this season. I mean, they faced Tampa, but then they gave up like 32 points to Philadelphia week 1. And then you got New York, who kind of, without the turnovers last Thursday night, they would have won that game. They lost by 1 against the Washington football team. So, I don't know. Atlanta just doesn't seem... They still seem like they're deep in rebuilding mode.
Yeah.
They need to get the defense better. I trust Matt Ryan to distribute the ball to all of his weapons, but at the same time, I just don't know if they're that complete of a team.
Yeah, I think if you like the Falcons to win this game, you would also like the over. I don't really see that defense stopping anyone. But I feel like the Giants they were talking about it on the broadcast last week, but Danny Dimes was starting to click and find his receivers and not take too many, terrible shots downfield. So I think everyone is healthy on the Giants. Obviously, Saquon's been a little questionable so far this year, but I like the Giants in this game.
Yeah, Saquon's looked a lot better, I thought. Like from week 1 to week 2, he kind of looks like he was making some of those cuts we used to see him make when he would run the ball. So this one I'm not super confident in, but just because he got 2 bad teams coming together, like Houston, Jacksonville, week 1, who knows what's gonna happen? So, I like the Giants. I think just like for the reasons I said, I think they're a little more complete. I think their offense, it was clicking. Their defense has got to be better than whatever Atlanta's rolling out there. So the Giants are the favorite. The spread is 3 points. If it's 3 points, I mean, no one's really losing by 2 points only. So I like the Giants. I'm going to go with the Giants to cover that 3-point spread. I think it is going to be a close game. It could be a 3-point win, but got to go with the Giants to cover. And then the over-under was 47.5 points. So that's about 6 touchdowns and 3 field goals for the game total. I kind of like the under. Just Atlanta. I mean, granted, like you said, Atlanta. Well, they faced Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's terrific defense, but then they didn't put up a lot of points against the Eagles either, and I don't think they have a great defense. So, I kind of like the under in this. More of a game manager style game for Danny Dimes. Limit the mistakes, the things that lost them the game last week. I think they could win it. What do you like the over?
I kind of like the over just because, yeah, I gotta think like the Falcons are at some point gonna have to click on defense, at least a little bit, or more on offense. I think with like the weapons that they have with Ridley and Pitts and even Mike Davis, I think this could be a week that they start to click on offense. So I'm gonna go with the over on this one.
And Patterson's been getting work for them too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like we're taking the under in NFL games because they're so high scoring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like those reasons too. There's going to be a lot of offensive weapons on the field in this 4-loss matchup. We've got the Chargers at the Chiefs in our next game. Chiefs are the favorite at minus 350. Chargers 270. The over-under is 54.5. The spread is 7. What are your thoughts, John?
I think 7 points in the NFL is a lot, but I definitely think if any team were to cover it, I think I'd go with Kansas City. So I think Kansas City's going to cover the spread, but I definitely think this is one of those games where whatever the over is, I would say I'm pretty confident it's going to go. So
I tend to agree. I don't know if I'm gonna ever bet the under with Kansas City unless I just think their opponent's not gonna put up points, like the Jets or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel confident in them covering the spread. The Chargers are pretty good offensively too, so I trust that. I trust Kansas City to easily hit 30 points, and then the Chargers to make up whatever the difference is. But yeah, I'll go with the over. Kansas City on the money line, Kansas City on the spread. And then we've got the Bengals at the Steelers. We watched the Bengals at the Bears last week. They obviously had a little bit of a rough week. Joe Burrow's in the offense with some of the mistakes. Pittsburgh's got a good defense too. So, I see this being maybe another tough week for the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the over-under's only 43. Pittsburgh's the favorite. The spread's 3.
I'm gonna pick Pittsburgh -3. I think their defense is just gonna give some troubles to Joe Burrow, and then I think there's a few injuries on both sides of the ball for both teams. But I think they kind of level out, and I'd still take Pittsburgh in this case. So.
Yeah, I tend to agree. They're home too. I think they should have no problem winning by over a field goal. The over/under at only 43 points. We've seen Pittsburgh in some low-scoring games already this year, so maybe I think probably against the Raiders, I think they probably hit the under. I just am inclined to choose the over just because it's such a low-scoring game. But in the same breath, I could see it being like 30-7 Pittsburgh.
Right. Yeah, just Pittsburgh dominating. So
I'm gonna switch to under. I think Pittsburgh is gonna dominate, and they're comfortably gonna cover.
Yeah. I think they'll rely more on the run game in this one, and I think they're going to be able to run the ball all over the Bengals. So I like the Pittsburgh kind of dominating this game. I
Yeah,
agree with that.
just a one-sided affair
Mm-hmm.
kind of a day. So we're not. I hate going under 43. That's not a lot of points. We got the Bears at the Cleveland Browns. Chicago. 44.5 points is the over/under. 7-point spread for Cleveland. We've got Justin Fields starting today, which is super exciting as a Bears fan. But Cleveland's got a really good defense, good rushing attack, and secondary. And then the offense has been clicking. They looked real good against Kansas City week 1. The run game with Nick Chubb and Kareem. I think Odell's making his debut today, which is perfect, right?
Of course.
Just against the Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm inclined. I would love to bet on the Bears. I'm just inclined to take Cleveland on the money line pick and the spread, 7 point spread. We've got Fields in there. Um, Also, the both defenses are really good, so it could be tough for both teams to score the ball. The Bears don't have a great secondary, in my opinion, but their run defense is still very stout. So I think Nick Chubb and Kareem could have a tough day. Like maybe it's a tough day moving the chains for both teams, but I'm just inclined to pick Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. I think the under is what I would go for just because of the defenses being really good up front. But I also like Cleveland. The strength of Cleveland's like defensive line is their two edge rushers, which Justin Fields is going to want to scramble. But if you have two guys coming quickly off the edge, it's kind of going to be hard to get out of the pocket with those two coming at you. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go with the under too. Similar story to Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. I'm gonna be rooting for the Bears, and I won't bet on Cleveland, but just out of principle. But I do feel the Bears are in trouble. Then we've got the Ravens at the Lions. The Ravens had tons of guys on the injury report. It was like I'm sure they're all gonna play. Like Marquise Brown, even Lamar Jackson was on there. Obviously, I think a super favorable opponent for Baltimore. The spread 7.5 points. The over unders 50.5 points, which I think Detroit's demonstrated an ability to put up points. I'm just not sure how. I don't think they're gonna put up 30 on Baltimore, and I don't think Baltimore's necessarily gonna put up 30 on Detroit. Um, what are your thoughts?
I think I kind of like the under in this one. I do like Baltimore to win. I don't. I'll pick the Lions to cover the spread. I think they showed some kind of resilience in both of their games so far. They were leading the Packers at half. They came back on the 49ers. So I kind of like them to cover, about a touchdown. But I do like the under just because both teams rely so much on the running game. I think you're going to see kind of similar to that Tennessee Indianapolis game where it's just the clock's running the whole time. So it's hard to hit the over when the clock's running. So.
Definitely. I think Swift might be injured. He's gonna play, but he's been dealing with a groin injury. But they have Williams as the backup in Detroit. They should have no problem running the offense. Jared Goff, he's a pro at screen passes. We've got the Saints at the Patriots. This one, the Saints are coming in as the underdog at plus 140. New England's minus 160. Over unders 43. The spread is 3. So people like the bookies like New England to win by a field goal in New England. I kind of think I kind of want to roll with New Orleans as an underdog pick in this, and obviously then I like New Orleans to cover the spread. Um, they weren't great last week, but they looked terrific week 1 against the Packers. Um, some of it comes down to the Mac Jones factor, rookie QB. I think New Orleans does have a good defense. I don't love like New England's offense. I do like their defense, but I don't love their offense. So I'm gonna go with New Orleans as an underdog pick.
Yeah, I like that. I was gonna pick New Orleans as well to cover the spread and to win the game. I think better game for Jameis this week than last week, and I also think Alvin Kamara's kind of gonna finally have that first really good game of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I like the under 43 points. I think we've got, like I said, a couple good defenses. I think it's definitely possible someone gets held to 10 or less in this game. And I would wager to say that's New England, but I don't know. It's not a lot of points. Three touchdowns and one field goal breaks it.
Yeah, but I like the under. I think New England's had a hard time kind of scoring this year, and it's been when they're able to run, and I don't think on the corners that New Orleans has, you're going to be able to really throw on them. So yeah, I like the under as well.
In the next one, we've got the Cardinals at Jacksonville. Cardinals. I am super high on the Cardinals this year. I don't think DeAndre has practiced at all this week.
He's playing.
He is playing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why. That's why you're here, John. Arizona, obviously heavy favorites. Jacksonville's looked real bad this year. Arizona's looked great.
Mm-hmm.
51.5 points is the over-under. The spread is 8 points. I just think Arizona's mentality and Kyler Murray and is like that offense. When it goes out there, they're just pressing on the gas, and they're regardless of how much they're up, they're looking to score on you. They're super aggressive. So I like Arizona as my money line pick and to cover the spread.
Yeah, I agree. I think they come out in a lot of like 4 wide receiver shotgun spread, and I don't think Jacksonville has 4 cornerbacks that can cover the depth that they have at wide receiver, especially when one of them is one of the best wide receivers in the game. So yeah, I like Arizona to cover the spread. I like Arizona to win. I like the over just because I think Arizona is just one of those teams that's, they could score 30 points every single game, no problem. And I don't think they care about how many points they're giving up, but they're confident that they're going to be able to score kind of every time they come down the field. So I like the over in this game.
Yeah. So this is one of those, like, I would normally take the over regardless of who Arizona's playing, but they're playing Jacksonville. So I like the under kind of. I trust Arizona to get like 31 points easily. I don't trust Jacksonville to get to 20 points against Arizona's defense. They played the Vikings last week, which the Vikings actually, I think they have a decent offense with Dalvin Cook, Jefferson, Thielen. They're rolling, so I like the under. But I totally agree. Like any game Arizona's in, you could feel pretty confident taking the over. Do you like Arizona to cover?
Yes.
Okay. We've got the Washington football team against the Buffalo Bills. This is in Buffalo. Over-under's 45.5. The spread is 7. Buffalo bounced back and looked real good, shutting out Miami last week. I think Washington's probably a similar. There were some. Tua got hurt, right, and got removed mid-game. I think there were some weird, maybe some circumstances that prevented Miami from putting up any points, but I think Washington is maybe similar caliber defense as Miami. I like Miami's defense. I don't know. I like Buffalo to cover 7 points.
Yeah, I like Buffalo to cover. I like Buffalo to win. I think high-powered offense. I don't think their defense was as good as the 0 points they gave up last week. But I think they have a good chance to give up not a lot of points this week, just because that Washington offense. They have some pretty solid weapons, but you don't know if Taylor Heineke's really as good as he's been playing so far. So I like Buffalo. I like them to cover the spread, and then I also like the under.
Okay. Yeah, I have written down the under, and I'm just thinking about it, and yeah, I could see Buffalo hitting. This is just one of those one-sided affair kind of things. I think Buffalo is going to come out again and have a just big win. I trust them to put up points. I just don't trust Washington in this game to put up points, but we'll see. I don't feel super confident on taking the under in that one for some reason.
I think it's kind of similar to Arizona and Kansas City, where it's just a high-powered offense, and you're like, oh, they got to hit the over every time.
Yeah, and then I look at Washington and how Taylor's Heineke's been playing, and they're not bad as far as putting up points. Gibson gets going, they could make a little noise. We've got the Jets at Denver. Denver's the biggest favorite today at minus 450, or sorry, minus 630 odds. Over unders 42. Spread's 10.5 points. Yeah, I like Denver, definitely. We, as Bears fans, were privileged to be a part of a Fangio touch team where, he was involved and on the defense. He's obviously, you know, their head coach now. I kind of like the idea of them covering 10.5 points. Teddy Bridgewater's been decent here. Um, the defense is really good. The Jets' offense is really bad. I mean, it's a huge spread. I just kind of like Denver to cover it.
Yeah, I definitely like Denver to win. I think I'm gonna take the Jets to cover the spread just because I feel like 10.5, 10 points. That's a lot of points to have to cover in the NFL. Um, I'm not very confident in the Jets, but I just think 10 points is a lot to have to cover for Denver.
Yeah, it is for not like a super high scoring offense. So basically, what I'm banking on in this game, and the over under is 42, and I'm okay with taking the under with a 10.5 point spread. So I'm just like banking on Denver to shut out the New York Jets in another one sided affair. I don't. That's what I'm banking on, right? With 10.5
Yeah.
points,
Oh yeah.
Denver puts up 30. Jets put up 10, and you're at 40 already. So I don't know. Hopefully it's the under. Or for you, did you say the over or under?
Yeah, I think I just like the over because I think
40.
to keep it close between a 10 point spread, like I think the over's got to hit in that case. So kind of like a 28-21 type game.
Yeah. We've got the Dolphins at the Raiders, the 2-0 Raiders. I think I might have yeah, I bet on Baltimore week 1. I bet on Pittsburgh week 2. I'm not making the mistake of betting against Las Vegas. I mean, Miami had a bad week against Buffalo, but I think Las Vegas is pretty good. Even with Jacobs out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're competing with some pretty decent teams.
Yeah, I think I like Las Vegas to win.
The spread's 3.5, and the over/under is 43.5 points.
I like the over, and I like Vegas to cover the spread. I think the strength of Miami's defense is the corners, and I think the strength of the Raiders' offense is Darren Waller, and then check down to Kenyon Drake in this game. So I don't think they'll run into too many issues. So I like the over. I like Vegas to cover, and I like Vegas.
Are you okay with taking so Buffalo won 35-0, and Tua's out. Are you okay? You think? I think Vegas could put up points. I'm just not confident in what Miami's going to be able to do. Like, I don't know if they're going to score more than 2 touchdowns in this game. So, I'm I'm inclined to take the under. I like Vegas to cover the spread too. I like them on the money line. But I'm more inclined to take the under in this one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just think Jacoby Brissett is better than kind of what he's getting framed as. I think he wasn't like perfect stats when he was playing with Indianapolis or New England, but I think he'll be able to kind of guide him for a couple drives, and then he'll have some good production out of the running game.
Yeah, and Jacoby might run the offense a little better than Tua at this stage. Tua's still relatively doesn't have a lot of experience, and Jacoby's got a ton of it.
Right.
Um, in the next game, we've got Seattle at the Vikings. Seattle at the Vikings. Seattle's the favorite. The over/under is 55 points. The spread is 2. I like Seattle on the road here to go into Minnesota. I, I don't mind Minnesota. I think their offense is really good. In fact, I think both offenses are really good, and even at 55 points, I like the over
Yeah.
in this game. Um, you
Yeah, I
know,
think
and then 2 points, like Seattle can win by a field goal.
right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 2 points is one of those spreads where it's like, who do you think's going to win, and then you kind of take them on that. So I think Seattle's going to win. So I'm going to take Seattle to cover as well. I think Dalvin Cook's going to be out. Sounds like. So that just another reason to take Seattle, and I think I expect it to be a shootout. Kirk Cousins has played well. Russell Wilson's played well. They kind of need a get right game for DK. So expect a big day out of him, and I expect the over to hit.
Yeah, DK Lockett's been the
Mhm.
home run hitter. I mean, he has been for a while, but yeah, it'll be hopefully DK can have a decent game. I like DK. I like Lockett a lot too. Um, we've got the Buccaneers at the Los Angeles Rams. This one's a good one. In fact, it's my lowest confident pick. Just two really good teams coming in into a match against each other. The over under is 55 points. Spread's 1.5 points. I'm gonna roll with the GOAT, Tom, in this game. Although I think it's a super interesting matchup. Probably the two teams, like the two teams out of the NFC that I'm highest on, are the Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Rams. Through 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go with. I think the Rams are gonna cover. I think the Rams are also gonna win. I think Tampa Bay's played two, pretty awful defenses. So I kind of have the confidence of, they haven't ran into a defense like the Rams yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the Rams to win. Um, I like them to cover. I think the weakness of Tampa's defense is their cornerback and defensive back play, and with Matt Stafford, the Rams have been able to throw the ball at will. But then I do like the over because I think both teams are just, kind of juggernauts on offense. So
Yeah, I think I really like your breakdown of the Rams defense. They're much better than Tampa's previous opponents. Yeah, I'm just kind of betting on Tom to clutch up and win the game. I think, yeah, I could see either team winning. I think it's going to be a fairly close game, too, super competitive. The Rams are going to, I think, definitely have a heavy throwing day against the run defense of Tampa. And then Tampa's just going to have to keep up and respond points wise. Or maybe it's Tampa setting the tone. I just think the offense is almost too good in this game. So the over, I like Tampa to win the game and therefore cover a 1.5 point spread. But yeah, not super confident just because they're both really good teams. Then we've got on Sunday Night Football tonight, we've got the Packers at the 49ers. You want to start? The over-under is 50.5 points. The spread is 3.
yeah, and isn't it the 49ers are the favorite?
Oh, yeah, sorry. The 49ers are the favorite.
Yeah.
Minus 170. Green Bay's plus 150, so...
Yeah, I think with a lot of injuries to San Francisco, which it seems like happens every year, I think Trey Sermon's starting at running back, it sounds like. But I like Green Bay to cover the spread. I think they can win by a field goal. I have much more confidence in Aaron Rodgers and their offense to be able to score whenever they want on San Francisco. So I think, yeah, Green Bay's going to win. I think they'll cover the spread. I almost think the under's going to hit just because of I don't expect San Francisco to be able to put up that many points.
Yeah, I like Green Bay on the money line pick. I like Green Bay on the spread. So, yeah, San Francisco runs through all their running backs. I like the over. I kind of like the idea of a team getting 30 and then another team getting at least 20 in this matchup. Green Bay getting 30. But Shanahan seems to just like whoever's at running back, he seems to make sure they're productive and efficient, help the offense. And then I think San Francisco's receivers have come alive, but I think that's one of the strengths of the Packers defense. So, it's they got to rely on probably Kittle in the run game.
Yep.
I think in this. And then we've got in our next match the Eagles at the Cowboys Monday night. Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have kind of gotten disrespected. They were the underdogs last week. They only are minus 180 odds this week. It's like they lost to Tampa and people think they're bad, but I think Dallas is a super good team. 51.5 points is the over-under. The spread is 3.5 points. I like Dallas to cover the spread. I like Dallas on the money line. I like the over. I'm not in love with Dallas's defense, but I think that offense is hard to stop, and Philadelphia's been decent offensively.
Yeah, I agree. I think the over, I'm pretty confident in that one just because I think both offenses have kind of been, they know kind of what their style is, and then I like Dallas to win. I almost like it to be a close game because I feel like every primetime game so far besides that Carolina one on Thursday has been like super close, and I've been like, I want to go to sleep at halftime, but then it's a 3-point game at half, and I'm like, oh, I gotta watch it. So I think I like it to be a close game, so I'm gonna pick the Eagles to cover the spread, but I like Dallas to win.
Okay, I like that too. Close game. I'm in for that. GT500 asks, can I bet on any betting site if I live in New York City? I'm tired of driving 2 hours to Atlantic City casinos every time I want to bet. I hear you. To be honest, I don't know what New York City's betting rules are. I think it's still illegal there.
No idea.
You could use one of those overseas sites like Bovada or something like that. I'm fortunate in this, state of Illinois. We legalized it fairly recently, and you had probably like a 6-month period where you could only go to like casinos to bet, and then they started rolling out, the apps and products that way. Prior to it being legal, I had hopped on to Bovada. I didn't put any money on there. If the anyone from the IRS is watching, but I would hop on there to look at the lines and stuff, and you can place bets. If you do, just lots of issues with because you got to enter a card, deposit money. Lots of issues with security around your card and info. But I guess as long as you catch that and you think it's worth the risk, you could do that. You could maybe even do a preloaded gift card, something like that. I don't know if that would work for a site if you're scared to put your personal info in there. I know they do crypto too, but again, you're like sending from one wallet to the other. Like, do you really want to do that security wise? I don't know. But I mean, I know it doesn't help, but I hope that helps. And then as far as international sites and stuff, you probably need a VPN. I don't know what the coverage rules are out there. Sometimes I try and go on a website in Illinois. Like, what's the Rocket one where people bet money? Is it like Roobet or something, or Roblox or something? But it's like a game. You've got the rocket and it's like flying up, and you got to click cash out before the rocket crashes and explodes. So you can't access that site from Illinois, at least. So you gotta like get a VPN and log on that way. So I hope I I don't know. Just got the creative juices flowing, help you kind of exploit whatever loopholes you can. I'm happy to help. In a, of course, fictitious, if I were to bet on a site, if I lived in New York City, but it's illegal here, what would I do if I wanted to try something like that? That kind of stuff. So, Johnny, you got any sit-start questions for your fantasy lineup this week? And then maybe we'll think about signing off here.
I think.
Oh, Mom's texting you. She needs help with their fantasy lineup.
Yeah, I gotta help her with that. I have an interesting one. I'm in a smaller league where we have, quite a few different, running back options. I need to start 3 out of Jonathan Taylor, Chris Carson, Ezekiel Elliott, Alexander Madison, and Kenyon Drake.
So Taylor and Carson are facing each other.
Taylor's playing Tennessee. Carson's
that's
playing
right.
Minnesota.
That's right. Minnesota. I think you have to start Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
I think you always have to start him. Is Cook for sure out?
That's what it sounded like. I haven't seen anything that's like a...
Is it a 3:25 game? Or is it a noon game? Oh, shoot, it's 3:25. That always stinks, too.
Because they're not going to come out until after that game starts.
Yeah.
But
So, Carson isn't a bad option. I'm a big Carson fan because Seattle seems to always trudge forward, but you need him almost to get a touchdown, right?
Yeah. So, Jonathan Taylor's a noon game, and then the other 4 that I listed are 3:25 or later. So, that's kind of nice that I don't necessarily have to make the decision until I know that Cook's out.
So, we've seen what happens when Cook's out, and Madison gets a ton of business.
Yep.
So, I would feel comfortable starting Madison over like a Zeke or a Carson. I don't think I'd put Drake in consideration right now. But it's almost like, and then Zeke on Monday night's always appealing. It's always fun to have a Monday night player, especially if you're down on the week. You just got a chance,
right.
But as far as like Zeke and his performance this year, I drafted Pollard I took Zeke with my first pick, drafted Pollard with them. I'm starting Zeke, but I think he'll get like 18 carries, 15 plus carries or touches, and what he does with those, hopefully he finds the end zone. But at least for this year, I think Carson's maybe a little higher floor, Zeke higher ceiling, lower floor, and then Madison, I would just feel super comfortable rolling him out.
If Cook's out, yeah.
Yeah,
I think if Cook's out, I'm going Taylor, Madison, and then I think I'm going to go with Zeke. That's kind of for a Monday night flyer. If I'm down 30 points, maybe Zeke gets that for me. So.
Yeah. I like that. And if Cook's playing, then you got your decision there. You start Carson, Zeke. So I think my only question is, I got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods at wide receiver. I'm starting 3 wide receivers this week, a wide receiver in my flex. I've got Mike Evans as well, who's projected 17.19 points. I think he's going to get shadowed by Jalen Ramsey today. And, I think Matt Stafford's going to have to throw the ball. a lot. So I almost like I'm gonna start both Rams wide receivers, but is Mike Evans too good to sit?
I think you look at your other option. I think Cook is or Cooper Cup is kind of definitely someone I'd lock in, especially because I think Darrell Henderson's going to be out, so there's not as much of like the check down to the running back. It's probably more to Cooper Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But for that reason too, I kind of like Robert Woods as well to play. I think Mike Evans will get shadowed by Jalen Ramsey to some extent. It sounds like Antonio Brown's out, so I think a big game's in store for like a Chris Godwin.
Yeah, and they're moving Ramsey around a little more. So there will be opportunities in plays where Mike Evans is open. I just Ramsey's scary.
He's so
He
good.
was real good in the Bears game. He looks so good. He's just blowing everything up. So thanks for tuning in to the show. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. If you wouldn't mind, please subscribe, like the video, leave a comment in there. Comment who are you rooting for today? We're rooting for the Bears, but we understand. It is what it is. So we'll go ahead and sign off. Thanks for watching KO Bets. I'm Bill. Thanks, Johnny, for joining today. See you guys. Oh, I'll be on tomorrow night for the UFC review. I had a really, really nice night. So, all right. See ya, everyone.
Yeah.